Did you know that Americans leave behind over $53 billion in unused vacation pay every year? What if just 2 weeks of that time that you're probably going to lose anyway when you retire, what if we could use that time to reveal whether you're actually ready to retire? Now, let me ask you this. What does a random Tuesday afternoon look like in your retirement? Not the bucket list trips or the big adventures with your grandkids, but just the quiet, regular days, the ones that you'll probably have thousands of. If you don't have an answer to that question, that might be a little bit of a problem, but the solution is simple: a retirement rehearsal. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, how to use some of that $53 billion, and why it might be the most important 2 weeks of your financial life. If you're new here, my name is Ben, and I want you to have an even better retirement. Now, I've worked with retirees for nearly 20 years, and I can tell you that sometimes the dream of retirement doesn't match the reality of retirement. But if you rehearse retirement first, well, then we can course correct before it's too late. That's what we're doing with the retirement rehearsal. Here's what I sometimes hear from new retirees. They'll tell me, Ben, I thought I'd play golf every day. That was the dream before I retired. But if I'm really being honest, now I'm kind of sick of golf. I'm a little bit bored and I don't know what to do with my time. That's so common, it's almost cliche, but it happens for one simple reason. This is going to sound a little ridiculous, but I want you to stick with me. Until you retire, you've never been retired before. We need a little retirement practice before we retire for real. You've worked your entire life, you've had a schedule, you've had coworkers, you've had some structure, and then one day, poof, it's completely gone, and you're left with a 40-hour hole in your week. That's where the retirement rehearsal comes in. All right, so here's the plan. If you're 2 to 5 years away from retirement, I want you to take a 1 or even better, a 2-week staycation. That's right, no trips, no big household projects, just live as if you are retired. Practice what a normal day in retirement might look like. Sleep in if you want, wake up with no alarm, go for a walk, go to the gym, try out a new hobby. Fill the time with how you imagine you might feel it in retirement. But don't just relax and let this be a passive activity. We're going to observe and gather data. This isn't a vacation, it's an experiment. It's a test drive. We're going to gather 2 pieces of critical data. 1, how much are you spending? And 2, how do you feel during this time? Are you bored? Because those 2 answers will tell us more about your retirement readiness than any spreadsheet ever could, and I love spreadsheets. All right, we're going to start with your budget. During the rehearsal, track your daily spending. Everything from groceries to gas to dining out, entertainment, hobbies, whatever that might be. Once our staycation is over, compare your staycation spending to the actual retirement budget that you've been using in your retirement plans. Are you spending more or less than you might have thought? If you're spending less, amazing. That means you can either retire a little sooner or you can spend more money once you're retired for real. If you're spending more than you thought, also good news. Now we have a plan to adjust before we retire for real. And while we still have a steady paycheck, we've got time to make these adjustments. Now let's talk about your mood, your energy, your engagement. Are you enjoying your time off or do you feel a little bit bored? Boredom might as well be a 4-letter word in retirement. Why is that? Well, because when people get bored, especially with a lifetime of savings right at their fingertips, they try to spend their way out of boredom. And that's when we see a surprise $60,000 bass boat or a $100,000 RV or 3 vacations in 3 months, or maybe the spontaneous second home in retirement. These things are really fun, but if they weren't part of your original retirement plan, then we're really just borrowing from our future selves in an attempt to spend ourselves out of a retirement rut. Many times we can avoid this completely if we simply practice a little bit first. Surprise spending sprees, especially early on in retirement, can be hard to bounce back from. It's essentially the sequence of returns risk just applied to ourselves. That's why this 2-week rehearsal is so important. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Ben, I don't have the time to take 2 weeks off. I'm completely swamped at work. But let me tell you, if you can't take the time off, you need this more than anyone. You've had no practice at being retired. You're just running full speed into this massive lifestyle shift that is retirement with no preparation whatsoever, and that's tremendously risky. We don't want to be in that situation. If you're the person who rolls over vacation pay every single year and never takes any time off, I designed this exercise specifically for you. So take the time, your future self will thank you. Now, once you've had your 2-week retirement rehearsal and that's over, let's review what we've learned. Did we feel fulfilled or did we feel restless? Did we spend more or less than expected? What activities gave you energy and actually made you feel better and excited to get out of bed in the morning? What moments maybe felt a little bit empty or a little bit lacking? Use that insight to shape the next few years of your working life. Maybe you'll discover a new hobby. Maybe you'll start mentoring or volunteering others. Maybe you'll realize that you're just not as ready to retire as you thought. These are all good things because now we have time to adjust before we hang up our work boots and retire for real. Look, none of us have actually ever retired before, but wouldn't it make sense to rehearse it? Just like you would with anything else in life that really matters. So take the challenge, track your spending, track your temperament, and let's have a retirement rehearsal. Now, if this video helped you have an even better retirement, give it a like, subscribe, send it to a friend, somebody that's thinking about retirement, and we'll see you in the next video. If you really like this video, check out this video next or send it to a friend.